Hello, seventh grade scholars. Welcome to our continuation of writing a précis. We've already talked about sentences 1 and 2. Let's review what we learned yesterday. Sentences 1 and 2 of a 4-sentence précis. So a précis is a special type of paragraph with only 4 sentences. Not all the other numbers, just 4 sentences. So a précis has 4 sentences. Each sentence has very specific things that must be included in that sentence. So don't switch things around, and it's not your time to be creative. Just follow the pattern. Sentence 1 has 6 things. Sentence 1 has what? 6 things. So the first sentence must have these 6 things: the author's credentials, so just a famous poet or Secretary of State or a microbiologist. So sometimes it's just what their job is. The title of the text, the date it was published, usually just the year, the genre. So sometimes it's just the major genre, but you could put major and the minor. That followed by a thesis. So the thesis is the reason for the text. What is the author trying to claim? What is the reason for the text? So remember, sentence 1 has 6 things. Sentence 2, supporting proofs. Sentence 2 has to cite words and phrases and ideas, arguments, facts, details, examples, etc. from the text that support that thesis, the reason for the text. So you want to give examples or evidence of your thesis, your sentence 1. So if possible, you want to find 3 proofs. Sometimes there are only going to be 2, but 3 is a magical number. So it's only one sentence. So let's go back. Sentence 1 has 6 things. Sentence 2 has supporting proofs, typically 3. 6 things, supporting proofs. Sentence 1, 6 things. Sentence 2, supporting proofs. I think you're getting what I'm going to be asking in the quiz here. Moving forward, so we have 4 sentences. We've covered 2. That's half of it. And now we have 3 and 4. Cool, I've laid it all out for you. Sentence 1, 6 things. Sentence 2, supporting proofs. Sentence 3, the author's purpose. We're going to get into that today. And then sentence 4, audience and tone. So here's your Précis map. Sentence 3, author's purpose. So sentence 3 must state and explain the author's purpose. So the author's purpose is different from the thesis. So the thesis is the overall reason for the text, the claim that they're trying to make. And an explanation is, so this author's purpose is what the author wants the reader to do, think, feel, or believe now that you've read the text. So what are they trying to get the reader to do, think, feel? Let's look really quick. So these are our new lit terms. They're not totally new because we reviewed them for a couple of days. But the author's purpose has 5 basic purposes. We look at these as pined, P-I-N-E-D, so we can remember persuade. Writing meant to convince the audience. We want them to do or behave or think a certain way. Persuade. Inform. Writing meant to explain, just explaining something, informing, giving information. Narrate writing meant to tell a story, so a narrative would be a story. Entertain. Writing meant to simply entertain. Sometimes you're going to be laughing. Describe. Writing meant to express a sensation or a feeling. So they're describing something to provoke some sort of feeling. So pined, persuade, inform, narrate, entertain, describe. So when you write the author's purpose, you're going to choose one of these 5 basic purposes that the author is using to communicate. So persuade, inform, narrate, entertain, describe. The author's purpose. How many basic purposes are there? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pined. So when writing sentence 3, just like yesterday, you're going to follow a pattern. So you're going to start with the author's last name, seeks to, and then state one of the 5 purposes. So which thing are they doing? Are they persuading, informing, narrating, describing, or entertaining? In order to explain what the author wants the reader to do, think, feel, or believe after reading the text. So you're just going to take the author, plug in the name, and then write the word seeks to, and then state one of the things that they're doing. So you have to read the whole text. And remember, European unity, Marshall is persuading. And so we would use persuade when we're talking about that. We're going to use the example of the poem, The Negro Speaks of Rivers. We'll continue with that. And then you write in order to, and then you say in order to do what? So what are they trying to get us to do, think, feel, or believe? So you're just plugging in the information. So you're replacing those blue-green words and the brackets with the missing information. So here's an example. Oops, I forgot to change this. I was going to do Harlem, but it's The Negro Speaks of Rivers. So Hughes seeks to describe. So Hughes, we plugged that in, seeks to describe what his ancestors may have experienced while living and working near different rivers. In order to, see that was already there for us, now we're just plugging in order to do what? To convey a sense of pride in his African heritage. So let's take another look at this. So here it is again with labels. Hughes, author's last name, seeks to describe, so that's one of the 5 purposes, describe what his ancestors may have experienced while living and working near different rivers in order to convey a sense of pride in his African heritage. So this is explaining what the author wants us to think, feel, or believe. So we want to believe this sense of pride, this heritage. We want to connect with him. That's what he wants, a connection. Sentence 4. So we're going to put everything together at the end. Sentence 4, audience and tone. So sentence 4 must have 2 things. Audience, who was the text written for? And then the tone, the attitude of the speaker or the character towards something. In this case, it's going to be the speaker for a poem. And then same with a speech would be the speaker. So they're going to be, so remember, sentence 3 has the author's purpose. And then sentence 4 is for audience and tone. So again, we're just following the pattern. So the author's last name, Hughes, writes to, and then who's his audience, in a what kind of way? All right, let's see what we did. Again, this is The Negro Speaks of Rivers, not Harlem. Hughes writes, so again, plugging this in, Hughes writes to all of humanity in a wise and dignified way. So we're just plugging this in here. So Hughes, the author's last name, what does he do? He writes to his audience of all of humanity. Now you may argue and say, oh no, he's just writing to his people, or he's just writing to white people, and it's not all of humanity. But really, my personal opinion is that he's trying to connect everyone together through this poem. So I've decided to say all of humanity. If you wanted to write something else, that's fine. Sometimes opinions will differ for different writers. So in what way does he do this? And you could focus on a certain thing, but the overall tone is that he's very wise and he's very dignified. It's almost like because he's known rivers and he's connected with his ancestors, he knows all things. So he's wise and dignified. He does it in a wise and dignified way. You could come up with other words that might make more sense or connect for you. These are just examples. So now let's look at the final product. We've got 4 sentences, and this is what it looks like. So here's your finished précis now that we've gone through the pattern. So in the poem, The Negro Speaks of Rivers, 1920, Langston Hughes, a famous poet, writes that his African heritage is rich like rivers, and he has pride in the people from whom he came. Hughes supports this point by connecting his soul to various rivers in Africa by which his ancestors would have lived, the Euphrates, the Congo, and the Nile. Hughes seeks to describe what his ancestors may have experienced while living and working near different rivers in order to convey a sense of pride in his African heritage. Hughes writes to all of humanity in a wise and dignified way. There's your précis. Granted, they're kind of long sentences. You're covering very specific information. So here's the final product with labels. You can kind of glance through this. You might have identified them pretty easily in the last example. But so you start with those 6 things. Sentence 1 has 6 things. And then sentence 2, so we go through the things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where's the 6th one? Right here. Here's our thesis. 6 things. Sentence is supposed to be sentence 2, supporting proofs. So we have the author's last name and then proof 1, 2, and 3. So sentence 2 would have supporting proofs. And then we go on down to sentence 3, the author's purpose. So we just fill this in with one of the 5 purposes. So sentence 3 is author's purpose. And then we come on down to sentence 4, audience and tone. So sentence 4 is audience and tone. So who is he speaking to and in what way? Sorry about a couple of mistakes here. I'll fix those before I put them up on my website. So now that we know how to write a précis, we will practice. So we're going to practice with European Unity, but not until tomorrow. Whew, some of you are so relieved. But today we have a quick little quiz to review précis. So let's review for the quiz. I wonder what's going to be on this quiz. Here's our précis map. Sentence 1, 6 things. There are 6 things in sentence 1. Sentence 2, supporting proofs. We typically have 3 supporting proofs. We just need to know. Sentence 2 will be supporting the thesis of sentence 1, and that's one of the 6 things. Sentence 1, 6 things. Sentence 2, supporting proofs. Sentence 3, we will cover the author's purpose. That's where we talk about our 5 different things. P-I-N-E-D. Purpose. I, inform. P-I-N. N is narrate. E, entertain. And D would be describe. You don't need to know all 5 of those yet. You will want to have those memorized. But right now, we just need to know that sentence 3 is the author's purpose, and that's those 5 purposes. Sentence 4, audience and tone. So who's the author or the writer or the speaker trying to connect to, and in what way? 6 things, supporting proofs, author's purpose, audience, and tone. All right, we know how to write a précis. You can review these 2 videos if you need to have a quick review. They're pretty short, and we will practice writing together. Let me close out of this, and I'll see you next time.